TEDxOklahoma City, make some noise! All right, from here over, I need you to be Ted. From here over, you're going to be X. Are you ready? Yeah. Are you ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, Ted. Come on. Come on. One more time. I'm a hype man. I love that I can help create energy in the room. I love what I do, but that's not who I am. My name is Les Thomas Sr. I'm a military veteran. I served during Operation Iraqi Freedom and Enduring Freedom. I'm a community leader and mentor, author, musical artist, businessman, and a proud black man. My greatest accomplishment in my life, though, is my family. We're somewhere between, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air family and Good Times. Dynamite! I've been married to my amazing, beautiful, wonderful wife for 22 years. I have 2 amazing children. To say I'm proud of them, that's the least I can do and say they make me move like nobody else. It's almost like they got a little joystick in their hand controlling their father, going left and right for whatever I want to go, whatever they want me to go. I love my life. I love who I am. Sometimes I feel guilty because this life that I have, I'm like, I don't know if I deserve it, but I have it and I love it. But it hasn't always been that way. You see, I grew up in a demographics where there was a lack of resources. Crime upon crime. My first time witnessing the shooting, I was 7 years old. There was an episode of cops shot across the street from my house. I remember watching my friends get quoted on a gang. I suffered trauma from a bat where I almost altered my life. There was a drive-by 2 houses down from me where my friend somehow his zipper miraculously stopped the bullet. There was a race brawl in front of my house where at least it was 30 people. They had jacks, chains, and bats fighting each other. Remember my mom and dad having their last argument, and he left. I remember sitting in the tree, just waiting, looking down the street, hoping that my dad was going to return, and he didn't. You see, this created a survive by any means necessary in my heart, so I started stealing. I started breaking into houses. I started breaking in cars. I did whatever I could do to get money. And that was because we didn't have any. My mom and I, at times, we had to flip the sofa or go in the car just to scrape up 80 cents to put into the gas tank. There was times I had to eat cereal with water because we didn't have anything. I remember later in my life, I shared some of these things with my mom, and she said, "Boo," that's what she called me. "Not my baby." I said, "Mom, you don't remember seeing 15 bikes on the side of the house? You never thought to ask me why? You never thought about to ask me why I wanted to go to Old Paris Flea Market after church and I'm walking in with radios and Nintendo tapes and all that? You never thought to ask me?" Some would say that my mom was in denial, but I'm going to tell you something else. My mom had faith like no other. I watched my mom get on her knees and pray every night. No matter if the electricity was on or if the water was off. It doesn't matter. She prayed every night because she was full of faith. I was a drug baby. My mom drugged me to church. 12 days a week. You heard me right. 12 days a week. But you see, although I was a boy, my mom always spoke to the king inside of me. And she always addressed the potential, not the problem. Imagine a world, imagine your life, imagine your job, imagine your house, imagine your marriage, imagine your kids, where we address the potential more than the problem. Let me share a story with you. My friends and I got into it with some people. Altercation was a way of life in my neighborhood, but this time was different. We said we're going to retaliate. We're going to go up in their house when they go out of town, and we're going to do something. So initially, we just wanted to mess up their house a little bit and eat their food because they have food. Well, it was cold, so we started a little fire in the fireplace, warm up a little bit. Next thing you know, we're putting more and more and more. Boom, the fire's out on the carpet. Boom, the fire is on the wall. So we take off running down the street. By the time we got to the end of the street, you could see the flames in the air. This landed me and my mom in a courtroom while I'm standing before a judge. While the judge was sentencing me, my mom abruptly interrupted the judge, grabbed my face, and got about 6 inches from my face. She said, "Son, this moment will not define you. You will go on to do great things. God has called you to greatness. I rebuke the enemy off your life. I believe in you. We believe in you, and you're going to do great things." I stood there looking up with my mom, looking up to her with tears coming down my eyes, wondering how in the midst of a storm could she call out greatness when I didn't even know what greatness was. Nothing in my life was great. I hadn't seen great. I hadn't witnessed anything great. She said I was called to greatness. It was Goethe who said, if you look at a man how they are, they will get worse. But if you look at a man on what they could be, they will become what they should be. My mom spoke to the potential, not the problem. The next thing she did was one of the greatest sacrifices anyone ever done for me. She gave up custody of me. She knew I needed to get out of the environment that I was in. So she gave up her rights of her baby boy so I can go to Millwood Public Schools. You see, the courtroom gave me hope. Millwood saved my life. And it's something that continues to fuel me today. The hope that I get in that moment still fuels me today. Not only did it save my life, it introduced me to my future wife. I met Mary Pollard. Millwood and Douglas, they always say pride of the East Side, but to me, Mary lived on the East Side, so she was the pride of the East Side. Fight me. I believe it. Then we had Les Thomas II. Beautiful, beautiful baby boy. I was in college. I dropped out of college, and I went to the Air Force because I was like, I want to be able to provide for my son. Then we got married. And marriage is like a beautiful thing, right? All white, starting over, so beautiful. But that's when the real hell started. You see, I had to play this position and play this role that I was not built for. A father, what is that? A husband, what is that? I did not have the blueprint to lead. And unfortunately, I took it out on my family. I was verbally abusive. I broke things in the apartment. I cussed out my family often. I was so bad, my wife used to call me the devil's reincarnate. Terrible. I remember she would want to go to church, and I would cuss out on the way to church because I knew that if she found her identity in Christ, I would lose all control. That's how bad I was. About 2 years later, that went on for 2 years. About 2 years later, the prayers of my grandma, the prayers of my mom, the prayers of my wife came to fruition. One day I was in my apartment, boom, I decided I no longer wanted to be the devil's reincarnate. I decided I was going to take my rightful place, and I was not going to be that crazy person anymore. From there, I went on to start operating in my gift and my talent. So you see, my mom always said I had a gift on my life, so now I'm in the church. I'm doing everything that they asked me to do. I'm traveling as a Christian rapper across the nation. I'm doing all these things. I'm doing amazing things. I'm preaching, I'm teaching, I'm changing the world, I'm volunteering. It's work, church, home, work, church, home, work, church, home. I wasn't crazy anymore. Food on the table, roof over our head, clothes on our back. Give me Father of the Year. That's what I thought until November 2007. Changed my life forever. We were driving to California. And you know, with your family, you play these games in the car, red light, green light, slug bug. Well, they're in the back seat. It's 2 a.m. They're in the back seat and they're playing Remember When. And they're just going through all these memories. And at first it was funny. I'm having fun. I'm having a great time. I'm laughing while they're going through all these memories. I realized that I wasn't in most of them. You see, I was home, but I wasn't home. I was living there, but I wasn't living in the home. I was there, but I wasn't present. So I'm in the car driving. By the time they're going to sleep, my eyes is cloudy because I'm thinking about everything that's going on. And I can hear my daughter when she would say, "Dad, can I make music with you? Can you lay down with me? Because I can't sleep." And I would say, "Daddy is tired. I'll do it tomorrow." My son would ask me, "Dad, can you play basketball with me? Can you play the game with me?" And I would say, "Daddy is tired. I'll do it tomorrow." You see, I had created this world called Tomorrowland. And in Tomorrowland, everything is great. Everything is amazing. Everything is fun. Everything is beautiful. Everything is great. But as I'm driving down the highway, I realized that Tomorrowland was fake. And it was that moment that I said, I'm going to take my rightful place. It was in that moment that I said, I'm going to show up for my family and be everything that they need me to be. I'm going to be present. I'm going to be in the home. I'm going to be a father, and I'm going to be a husband. I'm going to get good people around me. I'm going to get great mentors because it is time for me to show up. Why do I put my life on the table so you can see? Put my life on the table because my question for you, my friends, is who is suffering because you haven't showed up? Who needs you to show up? For me, it was my family. But for you, it may be your marriage. For you, it may be your job. For you, it may be a family member that you haven't talked to in several years. For you, it may be your neighbor. For you, it may be a cousin. But who do you need to show up for? We can't just show up. We got to show out. We've heard the saying before, show up and show out. When you say less, what does show out means? Showing up is half the battle. Making a decision to be there is half the battle. But you got to show out what you desire and what you want. You want love? Show it. You want peace? Show it. You want to have unity? Show it. Show up and show out. You may say, man, that's a motivational speech. I'm here to tell you that this is a motivational life. What you see in my life now is from that decision that I made in that car. I could have looked at it and said, I made my bed so I got to lie in it, but I decided to burn that bed up. So what I'm asking you to do is to do the same. Who do you need to show up for? Let's normalize showing up for people. Thank you.